What if a power so immense, so alien, showed up in the Star Wars galaxy that it didn't even register to a Jedi? Not light, not dark, just a complete void. A warrior whose pride is more dangerous than any lightsaber. That's what we're diving into today. What happens when the Prince of all Saiyans, Vegeta, crash lands right in the middle of the Clone Wars, and how one man's sheer stubborn will could completely shatter a plan that's been 1,000 years in the making.
So, here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll see his absolutely chaotic arrival on a battlefield. Then, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of why his power, Ki, is a total game-changer against the Force. From there, we'll watch him go head-to-head with the dark side's biggest players, before he gets an offer he's supposed to be unable to refuse. And finally, we'll see how his own warrior's code makes him take a stand that could change the fate of the entire galaxy.
Alright, so our story kicks off right in the thick of it, the Battle of Christosis. The Separatists have this new superweapon, right? It's supposed to mess with hyperspace, but it backfires, and instead, it tears a hole in the very fabric of reality. And who gets pulled through? None other than the Saiyan Prince, Vegeta. He crashes down, takes one look at the clones and droids blasting each other, and he is just not impressed. To him, these armies are like insects. With this pure, unfiltered royal arrogance, he calls their whole war a pathetic conflict, and just starts demanding answers. It's obvious from second one, he sees himself as being completely above everyone and everything here.
Meanwhile, back at the Republic command post, Anakin and the other Jedi feel this ripple, but it's not like anything they've ever felt before. It's a total void. There's this being of unbelievable power out there, but the Force can't touch him, it can't read him, it can't even really sense what he is. He's playing by a completely different set of rules.
And this is where the story just completely diverges from anything we've ever seen in Star Wars. See, the entire galaxy runs on this struggle between the light side and the dark side. But Vegeta? He doesn't play that game. He brings a totally new power source to the table, and it's called Ki.
And these two things could not be more different. Think of it like this. Ki is an internal power source. It's like a wellspring of energy that a warrior has to build up inside themselves through brutal training and pure willpower. The Force, on the other hand, is external. It's a cosmic field that you have to tap into and channel. Basically, one is built from scratch and the other is borrowed from the universe.
So here's the key takeaway. Everything Vegeta does, flying around without a jetpack, shooting these devastating energy beams from his hands, just shrugging off laser fire like it's nothing, all of that is powered by his own energy. It's not magic, it's not some mystical field, it is pure, weaponized willpower.
Now, you can't just show up with a power signature that's totally invisible to the Force and not expect to attract some unwanted attention. In fact, it basically acts like a giant beacon for the most powerful and dangerous people in the galaxy, and that leads to a series of showdowns that just keep getting bigger.
Vegeta pretty quickly starts climbing the ladder. He torches droids like they're nothing. He even humors a curious Anakin Skywalker with a little sparring match. But his first real test, that comes when he comes face to face with the leader of the Separatists himself, the very elegant and very deadly Count Dooku.
In their first fight, Dooku does what he does best. He hits him with Force lightning. Now, for a guy like Vegeta, who's used to blocking pure energy blasts, this is something totally new. The lightning slips right past his ki shield and attacks his nervous system directly. It's a brand new kind of pain, and it proves that the Force has a few tricks that raw power alone can't just brush off.
Dooku's no idiot, and he learns from that first fight. Back on his home turf on Sereno, he completely changes his strategy. He realizes he can't break Vegeta's body, so he decides to go after his mind. He gathers all of his dark side followers and they launch this coordinated psychic assault, trying to invade and corrupt the Saiyan Prince from the inside out.
Big mistake. Trying to mess with the mind of the Prince of all Saiyans is a very, very bad idea. Vegeta doesn't just block their attack, he annihilates it. With this defiant roar, he just unleashes all the power he's been holding back, and he shatters their mental assault with a massive explosion of golden energy. He finally reveals his legendary form, Super Saiyan.
Now, to really put this into perspective, going Super Saiyan isn't just a little power-up. It's a 50 times multiplier on his base power. That's a scale of power Dooku can't even begin to comprehend. His fancy Sith powers, his elegant lightsaber skills, all of it is completely useless against this tidal wave of raw energy. He is just utterly and completely overwhelmed. A power display that massive, well, it forces the hand of the real puppet master who's been hiding in plain sight this whole time, Supreme Chancellor Palpatine, the man secretly known as Darth Sidious.
Palpatine invites Vegeta for a friendly chat, but his whole kindly old politician act doesn't even last a second. Vegeta can sense power levels, and he immediately picks up on the immense dark energy hiding inside the Chancellor. He cuts right through the nonsense and calls him out on the spot.
Well, with his cover blown, Sidious just drops the act and gets straight to business. He realizes he can't manipulate Vegeta like he does everyone else, so he treats him like an equal. He makes him a deal. It's simple. Vegeta gets the one thing he wants more than anything, a way back to his own universe, and all he has to do is stand aside and let the Jedi be wiped out.
And this is a huge moment for Vegeta. He refuses, and he makes it clear it's not because he suddenly loves the Jedi or has a change of heart. It's a cold, hard calculation. If he takes a deal that allows a whole order of warriors to be slaughtered just for his own benefit, well, that makes him no better than the tyrants he spent his entire life fighting, like Frieza.
And by turning down that offer, Vegeta seals his fate in this new galaxy. He doesn't join the good guys, he's no hero for the Republic. He becomes something way, way more dangerous to Sidious's perfect little plan, a true wild card, who answers to nothing but his own warrior's code.
So let's be clear. He is not an ally to the Jedi. He couldn't care less about the Republic. But by refusing to be a pawn, he has just declared himself a direct enemy of Sidious. He is now the one piece on the galactic chessboard that the Grand Master can't control, can't predict, and can't manipulate.
And that leaves us with the biggest question of all. The Sith have spent 1,000 years planning for every possible move, every contingency, every little detail. But you have to wonder, how do you plan for a force of nature? How do you account for one warrior, whose power is matched only by his absolute stubborn refusal to ever be a pawn in someone else's game?